What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. And in this video, I'm happy to finally get around to the timeline of the Consolidated Audit Trail that I've been working on. It's going to explain everything you need to know. And by the end of this video, you will know what we mean when we say the CAT system is going to be implemented May 28th of this year, next month. And it's not as simple as that. It's not that it's going to be implemented, people. It's been implemented, and we're going to look at the history of how it all became, and then you'll understand exactly what's going on with the CAT system and why Citadel, Virtue, and all the rest of them are suing the SEC to stop it. You're going to understand all that. But we have to start at the beginning. You have to understand everybody's role. All right, because most people don't even understand what the role of the SEC is. And I've written this little thing here. We're going to talk about the timeline of the Consolidated Audit Trail. First, we have to understand everybody's role in the play. In 1929, the great market crash, the general consensus at the time was that the public confidence in capital markets had to be restored in order for the economy to recover. To help restore order and confidence in the market, Congress passed the Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, established the Securities Exchange Commission and laws that would regulate securities transactions in the secondary market. These rules would help stabilize the market and promote transparency from all exchanges. All right. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is the name of the organization, Securities Exchange Commissions. All right. Do you understand that? Their job is not to have to go after Citadel, Virtue, or any of the other bad actors. The SEC's job is to make sure the exchanges are making sure that the federal laws are being followed on their exchange, the Securities Exchange Commission. All right? And you're going to understand it all in just a second. Due to the cries of the government overreach, each exchange was given the authority to regulate or enforce the new federal rules and procedures governing the stock market on their own exchange. And they were then known as the SRO, or self-regulating organizations. Now, what that means is that when it came time to investigate the exchanges were making sure there was no fraud in the market, the exchanges cried government overreach, all right? They didn't feel as if the government needed to have all this information. And this was going on way in the beginning in 1934. All right? Why? Because the exchanges did not want to be audited. They did not want their books to be open to the government and show the government what was actually going on their exchanges. So the SEC's job is to go and check and make sure the exchanges are doing what they're supposed to do. And if they don't, or if they're not, then the SEC begins to bring charges. And we'll talk more about that. But let's keep going. In 1934, they were crying about government overreach. The government didn't have a right to have all that information. This new power was given to the exchanges, all right, to have the ability to find the bad actors. Now, if we talk about today, that would be Citadel, Virtue, and the rest of them. The exchanges have the authority to put a clamp down on the bad actors, but they haven't. That's why the Securities and Exchange Commission is having to go after the bad actors, but at the same time, they are going after the exchanges for not doing their jobs. Understand? CAT system is coming up. Furthermore, because each exchange would be enforcing federal rules and procedures, they would be given immunity from prosecution, same as the federal government. This is to say, as long as the exchanges operated within their SRO status, they enjoyed immunity. However, if the exchanges showed that they were not acting as the arm of the federal government and allowed rules and policies set forth to be broken, then their claim to immunity was moot. That's the immunity clause of the SRO, which is self-regulatory organizations, which are what? Exchanges, all right, that are given the power by the government to enforce the SEC's rules. Now, you pretty much got it all put together now. You understand who's playing who here. The Securities Exchange Commission is auditing the exchanges. That's what's important. And they cried foul, and the government had to come up with the SRO program, give them immunity. And now we're going to fast forward to 2008. And the SEC begins investigating allegations of naked short selling in the market, and they publish a report here. Now, for the rest of this document, I've got the links to everything. I will share it. All right, it'll be in the comments and in the description. If y'all want to come and look at this timeline and go to these filings, you can click on the links and you can do that. But let's fast forward to 2008, to the market crash of 2008. And this is where allegations of naked short selling was coming into the SEC. So they began an investigation. And from that investigation, they passed in July 2012, the SEC approves Rule 613 of the Net Regulation National Market System, which requires the self-regulatory organizations, which are who? The exchanges, to submit and implement a national market system plan to create a consolidated audit trail, CAT, that would allow regulators to effectively and accurately track virtually all activity in U.S. equity and options market. Now, what does all that mean? That's a whole lot to unpack. Right here is Rule 613, which is the Consolidated Audit Trail. All right, exactly what it means. We'll start reading that in the next video, and you're going to understand that they have been auditing the exchanges, all right, but the exchanges and the bad actors have figured a way to find loopholes and hide shit overseas, and now the SEC is saying Rule 613. I want to see all the paperwork on the table from all of y'all, and we're going to audit it all at once. That's what consolidated means. There has been an audit trail, but they were able to say, for example, Robinhood would say that they sold 16 million shares of AMC today, all right, or GME, and Schwab can say they sold 160 million, and over here, but you won't know how many shares were sold that day until you take all of them, bring them together, and then we can add up how many shares are being traded, when are they going to be fucking closed out, when they close out and borrow. But to close out this video, it's very, very important that you understand that up to this point in 2012, we have an audit trail, but things have went awry here where naked short selling seems to be prevalent in the markets. So the SEC passes Rule 613, which is a national market system, which is what it was already called, which requires the self-regulatory organizations, which are the exchanges, to submit a plan, a national market system plan. They are to come up with the plan. The SEC said, we're not going to tell you how to do it. We just want a national market system where everybody's information can be put together and we can check for corruption in the market. And it was the exchange's responsibility to come up with the plan in 2012, and they did April 27, 2016. All right, when they filed a notice for the National Market Systems governing of the Consolidated Audit System. This was the exchange's plan, and we're going to talk about that in the next video. Love y'all. Be blessed, and I'll see you then.